Hello, in this video we're going to apply the first law of thermodynamics onto these four special thermal processes. So for each of these processes, we're going to see whether each term in this equation is positive, zero or negative. Ready? Let's go! Let's start with the isobaric expansion, which is an expansion at constant pressure. So on the PV diagram, an isobaric expansion will just be a horizontal line, right? Constant pressure. Let's bring in the first law. So which term can we definitely tell that is positive, negative or zero? It's an expansion, right? There's an increase in volume. So work is done by the gas, which means work done on the gas is negative. In fact, the area under the graph is the work done by the gas. So work done on the gas is just the negative of this area. Next, can we tell whether the temperature has gone up or gone down? It has gone up, right? Because it has gone from a lower isotherm to a higher isotherm. Or you can see that the PV value here is lower than the PV value here. So if the temperature has gone up, it means delta U is positive because there's an increase in internal energy. Now that we know delta U is positive and work done on the gas negative, we can conclude that Q must be positive. So we have deduced that an isobaric expansion must always involve a supply of heat energy. So a practical way to achieve an isobaric expansion is to heat up the gas in a water bath. The key is to have a very frictionless piston here. If it's totally frictionless, then the pressure of the gas will always be equals to the external pressure, which is the atmospheric pressure. So as you heat up the gas, normally the pressure will increase, but because the piston is totally frictionless, the gas is able to expand so that its pressure remains at atmospheric pressure. Next, let's do the isochoric cooling. Isochoric means constant volume. So on a PV diagram, an isochoric cooling will be a vertical downward line. So now, which term is zero, positive or negative? Since there's no change in volume, the work done must be zero. Has the temperature gone up or down? Well, I've already given it away, right, by saying that it's isochoric cooling. But then you can also tell that it has gone from a higher isotherm to a lower isotherm. Or simply notice that the PV value has gone down. So the temperature has gone down, which means the gas has lost internal energy, which means delta U is negative. If delta U is negative and work done on the gas is zero, Q must be negative. In fact, delta U is equals to Q. The easiest way to perform isochoric cooling is just to dip your gas in an ice bath. So with a temperature gradient, heat will flow out of the gas. So remember, Q always involves a temperature gradient if it's by heat conduction. The key to isochoric is to make sure that the container is very rigid. If you are using a gas cylinder, then you want to fix the piston so that the piston cannot move, so that the volume remains constant. Okay, what's next? Isothermal expansion. Isothermal means constant temperature. So an isothermal expansion will always occur along an isotherm. It will always have this y is equals to 1 over x shape, because if temperature is constant, then nRT is constant. So P is just inversely proportional to V. That's why we end up with this y is equals to 1 over x kind of graph. Okay, which term is zero, positive or negative? By definition, isothermal means no change in temperature, right? So no change in temperature means which term is zero? Delta U is zero. Not Q, yeah? In fact, Q and the work done on the gas are equal in magnitude, just opposite in sign. So we have a negative work done on the gas since it's an expansion. In fact, the amount of work done by the gas is this area under the graph here. So work done on the gas is the negative of this area. So if delta U is zero, then Q must be positive and same magnitude as work done on the gas. So to achieve an isothermal expansion, the key is to have a very thin wall here so that heat can flow freely from the constant temperature bath into the gas. Normally when you draw out the piston, because you are doing negative work, the temperature of the gas may drop. However, if you do it very slowly, then heat can always flow from the temperature bath into the gas to maintain its temperature. Now the last one, adiabatic compression. What does adiabatic mean? It means no heat exchange. So since it's a compression, the PV diagram will look like this. Because it's adiabatic, so by definition, Q is zero. But the gas got compressed, right? So work done on the gas is positive. If Q is zero and work done on the gas is positive, delta U must be positive. This means in an adiabatic compression, the gas must always become hotter. So your gas must have gone from a lower isotherm to a higher isotherm. One way to produce an adiabatic compression in your lab is just to make sure that your gas cylinder has a very thick insulating wall. This is to cut off the heat exchange between your gas and the surrounding, and then you just plunge the piston in. So an adiabatic compression achieves a temperature rise purely by doing work on the gas. You don't have to supply any heat at all. Another way to achieve adiabatic compression is just to push the piston in very quickly, because heat exchange takes time, you see. So if you plunge it in, then during that split second, you can assume Q to be 0. So that's another way to achieve adiabatic compression. Okay, I hope that was fun, figuring out who are the zeros during these 4 processes. So work done is 0 for isochoric processes because there's no volume change. Delta U is 0 for isothermal processes because there's no temperature change. And Q is 0 for adiabatic processes because there's no heat exchange. Alright, that's all. Ta-ta!